Are you absolutely sure that what's healthy for you is healthy for everyone in your family? You might think that a food labeled as good for your heart, bones, or energy is universally beneficial. But here's a surprising truth that most people over 60 miss. Some of the very foods that can be a powerful boost for a man's health could in fact be a hidden drain on a woman's vitality, sleep, or even bone strength. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? We've all been taught that nutrition is a one-size-fits-all concept. But the reality is, as we mature, a man's body and a woman's body have distinct needs and vulnerabilities. A food rich in a specific nutrient might be perfect for supporting a man's system, while potentially interfering with a woman's delicate hormonal balance or medications. Whether you're a man looking to optimize your own health and perhaps guide the women in your life, or a woman seeking to protect your well-being and understand what's best for the men around you, this video is for you. I'll reveal 5 surprising foods that have this exact double-edged effect. And make sure you stay until the very end, because the 5th food is a celebrated health food, a game changer for men, but it carries a hidden risk for women that's almost never discussed. Before we dive in, if you find this information valuable, please hit that like button. And if you want more practical health tips tailored to your stage of life, consider subscribing and joining our community. We love hearing where you're watching from, so drop your country in the comments below. It helps us see how many of us are dedicated to vibrant health. Thank you. Here are 5 foods that are great for men over 60, but potentially problematic for women. 1. Seaweed, the iodine balancer. We're talking about sea vegetables like kelp, kombu, nori, and wakame. This is for those who understand that the mineral iodine is crucial for our health, but who also recognize that too much of a good thing can quickly become a problem, especially later in life. For men over 60, the thyroid gland generally has a wider tolerance for iodine intake. The thyroid, often called the master gland of your metabolism, needs iodine to produce the hormones that govern your energy levels, body temperature, and even your heart rate. As men age, ensuring adequate iodine can help keep this system running smoothly. A deficiency can lead to sluggishness and weight gain. Including small amounts of seaweed in the diet is an incredibly efficient way to get this nutrient. For most men, a modest and occasional intake provides what they need to support this system without overloading it. For women over 60, however, the story is far more complex. Women are 8 times more likely than men to develop thyroid problems. Many of these issues, like Hashimoto's disease, are autoimmune in nature, meaning the body's own immune system is attacking the thyroid gland. In this scenario, the thyroid is already under stress and is exquisitely sensitive. A sudden, large influx of iodine from a source like a kelp supplement or a large seaweed salad can be like pouring gasoline on a smoldering fire. It can actually trigger or worsen the autoimmune attack, leading to a rapid decline in thyroid function or a swing into hyperthyroidism, causing anxiety, heart palpitations, and sleep loss. The science behind this centers on how high doses of iodine can stun the thyroid, a phenomenon known as the Wolff-Chaikoff effect. In a healthy thyroid, this is a temporary protective measure. But in a gland already compromised by autoimmune disease, it can fail to recover, leading to long-term problems. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has highlighted that while iodine deficiency is detrimental, excessive iodine intake can be a significant trigger for initiating or worsening autoimmune thyroiditis in genetically susceptible individuals. So here's the practical advice. For men over 60, small amounts of seaweed are generally safe and beneficial. Think of it as a condiment, not a main course. A small sprinkle of dried kelp flakes on a soup or salad a few times a week, or using a piece of kombu to make a flavorful broth, is plenty. This provides a gentle, supportive amount of iodine. For women over 60, especially if you have a known thyroid condition, a family history of one, or suspect you might, extreme caution is warranted. It is much safer to get your iodine from more moderate and predictable sources. These include using iodized salt in your cooking, eating dairy products, or having fish like cod a couple of times a week. It's best to avoid concentrated iodine sources like kelp supplements and large portions of seaweed entirely. And of course, always discuss this with your doctor. Are you a fan of seaweed in things like miso soup or salads? Let me know your favorite way to eat it if you do. 2. Liver. The nutrient powerhouse. We're talking about beef liver or cod liver, both of which are famous for being incredibly dense in certain vitamins. This point is for those who appreciate traditional nutrient-rich foods, but need to understand that with this level of potency, the dose makes the poison, especially when we consider gender-specific risks. For men over 60, liver, when eaten in small, infrequent amounts, can be a fantastic supplement. It is one of the world's best sources of vitamin B12, which is critical for nerve function and preventing anemia. B12 absorption can decrease with age, making a potent source like liver very helpful. It's also packed with iron and other minerals. The key benefit, however, is its high concentration of preformed vitamin A, also known as retinol. This form of vitamin A is ready for the body to use immediately, and it's essential for vision, immune function, and skin health. For most men, whose risk of osteoporosis is generally lower than women's, a small portion of liver once or twice a month can be a great way to top up these vital nutrients without significant risk. For women over 60, the high concentration of retinol in liver presents a serious and well-documented risk. After menopause, a woman's risk for osteoporosis and bone fractures increases dramatically due to the decline in protective estrogen. Multiple large-scale, long-term studies have found a disturbing link between very high intakes of preformed vitamin A, or retinol, and an increased risk of hip fractures in postmenopausal women. The theory is that excessive retinol can interfere with the action of vitamin D, which is essential for calcium absorption and bone health. It may also increase the activity of cells that break down bone. This isn't a minor concern. A pivotal study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association followed over 72,000 postmenopausal women for 18 years. Researchers found that women with the highest intake of retinol had nearly double the risk of hip fracture compared to those with the lowest intake. The amount of retinol found in a single standard 3.5-ounce serving of beef liver can be many times the recommended daily upper limit. So, the actionable advice is as follows. For men over 60, if you enjoy liver, you can consume it safely as a rare treat. Think of a very small serving, perhaps 2 ounces, no more than once a month. This allows you to get the benefits of the B12 and other nutrients without accumulating excessive levels of retinol. For women over 60, given the significant risk to your bone health, it is wisest to strictly limit or even completely avoid liver and cod liver oil supplements. The risk simply outweighs the reward. You can get all the vitamin A you need in a much safer form, called beta-carotene, from colorful fruits and vegetables like carrots, sweet potatoes, and spinach. Your body will only convert what it needs into retinol, with no risk of toxicity. For vitamin B12, look to other sources like fish, eggs, dairy, or a B12 supplement if needed. I'm curious, is liver a food that was a regular part of your meals growing up? It's become much less common over the years. 3. Soy products, the smart swap for men. We're talking about foods like tofu, edamame, tempeh, and unsweetened soy milk. This point is for the man who is wisely looking to reduce his red meat intake without sacrificing high-quality protein, and for the woman who needs to be especially mindful of her thyroid health, a common concern as we age. Let's start with the benefits for men. For decades, there's been a persistent myth that soy products, because they contain something called phytoestrogens, could lower a man's testosterone levels. This has caused a lot of unnecessary fear. The secret is understanding what phytoestrogens really are. They are plant-based compounds that can weakly bind to estrogen receptors in the body. The key word here is weakly. They are thousands of times weaker than the body's own estrogen and do not behave in the same way. Think of it like having 2 keys. One is the master key made by your body, and the other is a poorly copied key from a plant. The plant key might fit in the lock, but it barely turns it. In fact, by occupying the lock, it can sometimes block the master key from having too strong of an effect. The science on this is now overwhelmingly clear. A landmark 2010 meta-analysis, which is a study of studies, was published in the journal Fertility and Sterility. It looked at dozens of high-quality clinical trials and concluded, without a doubt, that soy consumption does not alter testosterone levels in men. What it does do, however, is provide a complete protein source with all 9 essential amino acids, very low saturated fat, and 0 cholesterol. For a man over 60 concerned about heart health and maintaining muscle mass, swapping a steak for a block of tofu is one of the smartest dietary moves he can make. Now let's look at the situation for women over 60, which is quite different. The issue for women isn't about hormones in the way the myth suggests. It's about a direct and clinically proven interaction with a very common medication, levothyroxine. This is the synthetic thyroid hormone prescribed to millions of women for hypothyroidism, or an underactive thyroid. The problem lies with compounds in soy that can interfere with the absorption of this vital medication in the gut. If a woman takes her thyroid pill and then has soy milk in her coffee or a tofu scramble for breakfast, she may not be getting the full dose of the medicine she relies on to regulate her metabolism, energy, and mood. This is not just a theory. A study published in the journal Thyroid directly investigated this. Researchers found that soy consumption can significantly reduce the absorption of levothyroxine, potentially making the medication less effective and requiring dose adjustments. This is critical because inconsistent absorption can lead to symptoms of hypothyroidism returning, such as fatigue, weight gain, and brain fog, leaving a woman and her doctor confused about why her medication isn't working as it should. So the how-to is simple and clear. For men over 60, feel confident in incorporating 1 to 2 servings of whole soy foods into your daily diet. A serving is about half a cup of tofu or tempeh, or 1 cup of unsweetened soy milk. It's a fantastic way to protect your heart. For women over 60 who take levothyroxine for a thyroid condition, the rule is simple. Separation is key. You don't necessarily have to avoid soy altogether, but you must be strategic. Always take your thyroid medication on an empty stomach first thing in the morning with only a full glass of plain water. Then you must wait at least 4 hours before consuming any soy products. This creates a clear window for the medication to be fully absorbed without interference. Have you ever tried replacing red meat with a soy-based product like tofu or tempeh? I'd be curious to hear about your experience in the comments below. 4. Coffee and strong tea, the morning accelerator. This is a big one, as it's a daily ritual for billions of people. This point is for anyone who relies on that morning cup for a burst of energy, but finds that the timing can make all the difference between a productive day and a restless night. For men over 60, a moderate amount of caffeine in the morning can be quite beneficial. As we age, we can sometimes experience a natural dip in energy and motivation. A cup of coffee or strong black tea before a morning walk or a round of golf can improve physical performance, enhance alertness, and even lift one's mood. The key lies in the body's ability to metabolize caffeine. Men often have a slightly faster caffeine metabolism and are less prone to some of the specific side effects that become more common in women. For a man, the primary risk of too much caffeine is usually related to jitters or a temporary increase in blood pressure, which for most is manageable with morning-only consumption. For women over 60, the relationship with caffeine can become much more complicated. There are 2 main reasons for this. First, hormonal changes that occur after menopause can make women more sensitive to the effects of caffeine, especially on the nervous system. This means that the same cup of coffee that used to be fine can now lead to anxiety, heart palpitations, and most importantly, disrupted sleep. Caffeine has a long half-life, meaning it can take 8 hours or more for your body to eliminate just half of it. A cup of coffee at 2 in the afternoon can still have a quarter of its caffeine circulating in your bloodstream at 10 at night, preventing you from getting the deep, restorative sleep you need. Second, and this is a crucial point, caffeine is a known bladder irritant. For many women over 60, symptoms of an overactive bladder, such as urinary urgency and frequency, become more common. Caffeine can dramatically worsen these symptoms. It acts as a diuretic, making you need to go more often, and it directly stimulates the bladder muscle, increasing that feeling of urgency. This can mean more trips to the bathroom during the day, and critically, more sleep-interrupting trips at night. The scientific support for this is well established. Numerous studies, including those reviewed by the National Association for Continence, confirm that caffeine intake is a significant factor in exacerbating the symptoms of overactive bladder. For women struggling with this, reducing or eliminating caffeine can be one of the most effective lifestyle changes they can make for relief. So, the clear how-to is this. For men over 60, enjoy your 1 or 2 cups of coffee or strong tea, but make it a firm rule to have them before noon. This gives your body plenty of time to process the caffeine so it doesn't interfere with your sleep. For women over 60, especially if you experience any sleep issues, anxiety, or bladder symptoms, it's highly recommended to follow the same before noon rule. Even better, consider switching to half-caffeinated coffee or replacing that second cup with a naturally caffeine-free herbal tea like rooibos or chamomile. This small change can make a world of difference to your quality of sleep and daily comfort. When do you usually have your last cup of coffee for the day? Share your routine in the comments below. 5. Oysters. The Zinc Supercharger. Oysters are famous for being the single best dietary source of the mineral zinc. This point is crucial for men concerned with maintaining vigor and immune health, and for women who must prioritize their long-term bone integrity above all else. Let's start with men. Zinc is arguably one of the most important minerals for men's health, particularly as they age. It plays a vital role in hundreds of enzymatic reactions in the body. Crucially, it is essential for immune function, wound healing, and maintaining a healthy prostate. High concentrations of zinc are found in the prostate gland, and maintaining adequate levels is linked to better prostate health. As men get older, zinc absorption can decline, making it even more important. A single serving of oysters can provide several times the recommended daily intake of zinc, making it an incredibly efficient way for men to ensure their levels are optimal. For supporting male-specific health systems, oysters are in a league of their own. Now, for women over 60, the picture is alarmingly different for 2 specific reasons. The first is a heavy metal called cadmium. Oysters, being filter feeders, unfortunately accumulate cadmium from their environment. Cadmium is toxic, and it tends to accumulate in our bodies over our lifetime, particularly in the kidneys. For women, this is especially dangerous because cadmium exposure is strongly linked to a higher risk of osteoporosis and fractures. It can interfere with calcium metabolism and has a direct toxic effect on bone-building cells. A woman's body after menopause is already fighting an uphill battle to preserve bone density. Adding a source of cadmium into the mix is pouring fuel on the fire. The second reason is that while women do need zinc, they don't need the mega doses that oysters provide, and getting too much can throw off the delicate balance of other essential minerals, particularly copper. An imbalance between zinc and copper can cause its own set of health problems. The evidence linking cadmium to bone damage in women is robust. A study from the journal Environmental Health Perspectives reviewed the data and found a consistent association between cadmium exposure, even at low levels found in some foods, and decreased bone mineral density and increased fracture risk in women. Oysters are frequently cited as one of the primary dietary sources of this harmful heavy metal. So here is the definitive plan. For men over 60, oysters can be a powerful health tool. Enjoying a serving of 6 oysters once or twice a month is a great strategy to supercharge your zinc levels and support your immune and prostate health. For women over 60, due to the unacceptable risk from cadmium accumulation and its direct threat to your bones, it is highly recommended to avoid oysters or consume them extremely rarely. The potential harm to your skeletal system is simply too great. Thankfully, there is a much safer, cheaper, and equally effective way to get your zinc: pumpkin seeds. A quarter cup of pumpkin seeds provides a healthy amount of zinc without any of the cadmium risk. They are a much wiser choice for protecting your long-term health and mobility. What is your go-to source for getting enough zinc in your diet? Is it through a specific food or a supplement? Share your thoughts below. After hearing all this, you might feel a little overwhelmed. Soy for him, but timed carefully for her. Liver for a rare treat for men, almost a no-go for women. It can certainly feel like you're navigating a nutritional minefield, trying to recall all these specific rules for different foods. But here's the good news. You don't need to memorize every single detail. Instead, just keep these 4 simple guiding principles in mind to make healthy eating much easier. Principle 1. The potency check. Principle: before you put something on your plate, just ask yourself, does this food have a particularly strong concentrated effect? Think about it. Foods like liver, oysters, or concentrated kelp supplements? Absolutely, they're potent. But everyday staples like broccoli, lean chicken, or an apple? Not so much. They're generally safe and beneficial for just about everyone. This quick question helps you zero in on the foods that truly warrant a second thought. Principle 2, the medication first principle. This one is non-negotiable. If you're on a daily prescription medication, especially for conditions affecting your thyroid, bones, or heart, those medication rules always take precedence. Your food choices are secondary. Always follow your pharmacist's and doctor's instructions about taking meds on an empty stomach or avoiding specific food interactions. They are your ultimate guide. Principle 3, the listen to your body. Principle: ultimately, your body is your best and most honest feedback system. If that morning cup of coffee, even before noon, leaves you feeling wired, anxious, or messes with your sleep, that's your body sending a clear signal. It doesn't matter what any video or expert says. If it doesn't feel right for you, pay attention. How you feel after you eat is your most personalized health data. Principle 4, the diversify your diet. Principle: the safest and smartest way to get all your essential nutrients is not to rely on a single superfood. Instead, spread your bets. Get your zinc from a variety of sources like pumpkin seeds, lentils, and nuts, not just mega doses from oysters. Aim for a rainbow of vegetables and fruits for your vitamins, rather than focusing on just 1 or 2. Dietary diversity is your best insurance policy against getting too much or too little of anything. So what we've uncovered today is pretty profound. Food isn't just fuel, it's powerful information. And after 60, a man's body and a woman's body can interpret that information in wildly different ways. This isn't about fear-mongering or creating a long list of forbidden foods. It's about empowering you with specific, actionable knowledge to make wise, personalized choices that truly honor your unique biology. I'm not asking you to completely revamp your kitchen or overhaul your entire life overnight. Just pick one idea from this video that truly resonated with you. Maybe it's the simple act of creating that 4-hour window between your thyroid medication and your morning soy milk. Or perhaps it's making the easy swap from oysters to a handful of delicious pumpkin seeds. Just try that one small change. Observe how you feel for just a few days. I'd love to know, which of these 5 foods surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video gave you a new, useful perspective on your health, just type "aware" in the comments to let me know it helped. And of course, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so we can continue this vital health journey together. Take care, may your meals be nourishing, and may your health be vibrant. I'll see you in the next video. Many seniors have been already benefited from this video. Click to see what you've been missing.